We're doing a project in this older condo and we're replacing all of the outlets. And in this case we've got a 30-year-old outlet and it's been painted in place. And not a lot can go wrong with outlets, but after years of plugging things in, you can actually loosen the metal that holds the plugs in place, and that can be a little dangerous. So we're going to replace this, and the first thing you'd want to do is just take a screwdriver on these mounting straps here, or a razor knife, and just break loose the paint. So when we pull this out, we don't tear the paint on the wall. So I've turned the electric off to this circuit. I've tested both sides with an electrical tester. I know the electricity's off, and now I'll remove these screws and pull the outlet out. Now that I've pulled the outlet out, I can see that it's in the middle of a circuit. So we've got, here we have our white wires, our neutral, connected to the silver screws, and we have our hot wires, which generally are black, but they can also be a colored wire. In this case they're blue, going to the brass screws. And this is in the middle of the circuit, so we have hot coming into this outlet and then going on to another outlet down on this circuit. So we're just going to remove these, and we can see the color of the wire very easily. If this were an older home and all of the color was the same, you would want to mark either the hot side or the neutral side with a piece of tape on those wires so it's easy to connect to the new outlet. And in this case we're working on a 15 amp circuit, which is pretty normal for most homes, and so we're replacing this with a 15 amp outlet. And in this case, all new construction, they're requiring these tamper resistant outlets, so it's not easy for a child to push anything into the outlets. They have a plastic flap to protect them. So I'm going to unscrew these wires and we'll pull this apart. So the way the electrician wired this is kind of unique. Rather than taking two wires and connecting it with a wire connector and having an individual wire, a single pigtail connected to this, he cut the insulation in the center of this wire to make it safe. You would never want to connect two wires to one screw terminal. So we're just going to leave it the way the electrician had it, and we're going to connect our hot wire, in this case this blue wire, to the brass or gold colored screw. And then we're going to connect the other one, and we want to make sure that the hook is in a clockwise shape as we connect it to the screw terminal. If you were to connect it counterclockwise, it can actually push it off. So we'll just connect this other hot to the gold screw and snug them down, and now we're going to connect the neutral wires or white wires to the silver screws. And here in this suburb that we're working, it's all metal conduit all the way back to the service panel. So many electricians do not use a grounding wire which would be connected to this green screw, because once we screw in the metal screws to the outlet, the metal screws will be connected to metal all the way back, and it's a natural ground. So now we'll connect the white wires to the silver screws. So we have the hot connected to the brass, the white to the silver screws, and now because we're in an area where we're using metal boxes, what I'm going to do is just wrap some electrical tape around these screw terminals, and just in case in the future someone were to pull this out and they did not turn off the electric before they mess with it, we don't want them touching that metal box with a live circuit. So that's all there is to it. Very simple to replace an outlet. Now we'll just screw this back into the box and put a cover on.